What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Penguin Canine deck profile. So I'm really excited to do some for you guys because this deck is an extremely interesting deck with just how well the Penguin and Canine cards work together. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of the Great Emperor Penguin. Great Emperor Penguin is an amazing 3F in the build because this card is actually a level 5 monster, meaning we can instantly bring it out to our side of the field using Canine Yugioh. This card also has the ability to contribute this card and then special summon up to 2 penguin monsters from the deck, except another copy of this card, which is a great ability to help you bring out multiple penguin monsters to your side of the field and go full combo. We then play 3 copies of Penguin Squire. Penguin Squire is also definitely a 3F in the deck because this card is also a level 5 monster, but this card is a tuner, with the ability that it cannot be used as a synchro material except for the synchro summon of a water monster, and if a monster is set to your field, you can actually special summon this card in the hand, then reduce its level by 1 or 2, and also target a face down defense position monster you control and change it to face up defense position, and if you do, its effects are negated unless it's a penguin monster, which is a great effect to help you flip your penguin monsters up so you can actually activate their effects and use the ability of this card to help you go in for some synchro plays. We then play 2 copies of Penguin Soldier. Penguin Soldier is such a nostalgic card, and I absolutely love this card in the build because if it's flip face up, you actually get to return 2 monsters from the field back to the hand, which is a super powerful ability just to bounce 2 monsters off the field. We then play a single copy of Glacier Beast Polar Penguin. This card is great in the build because it's actually a level 3 tuner to help us go in for more synchro plays. We made a single copy of Note Penguin. Note Penguin is actually my favorite penguin in the entire deck, and definitely comment down below what your favorite penguin is as well. This card is the ability during either player's turn, when the effect of a penguin monster is activated, you can special summon this card from the graveyard, and also if a card would be returned from the field back to the hand by the effect of a penguin card, banish it instead, which is a pretty cool ability to actually banish cards instead of returning them back to hand, which is such a broken ability. We then play a single copy of Penguin Ninja. Penguin Ninja helps you deal with your opponent's back row because if it's flip face up, you can target up to 2 spells and traps that your opponent controls and return them back to the hand, and also target a penguin monster you control and change it to face down defense position, which is a pretty cool ability to use with your copy of a Penguin Soldier or with your copy of Penguin Ninja so you can use their effects all over again. We then play a single copy of Puny Penguin. Puny Penguin is great in the build as a 1-up because this card is actually a level 1, and it also has the ability that when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, after being flip face up, you can target a penguin monster in the graveyard, except a copy of Puny Penguin, and special summon that target in face up attack or face down defense position, helping you bring out an additional monster out to your side of the field, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play 3 copies of Canine Azuna. Canine Azuna is super powerful as a 3F with the ability that if your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand of the graveyard, this turn, quick effect, you can special summon this card from the hand, and if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a canine card from your deck to the graveyard, which a card we're usually sending to the graveyard off this card's effect is our copy of Lupus. Lupus is great because this card can actually special summon itself back from the graveyard alongside your copy of Azuna, so you can actually go in for an XZ play, which is super cool to combine these 2 cards together to help you go in for some XZs like your copy of Ripper. We then play 3 copies of Jokel. Jokel is what makes his deck so insane, and actually what bridges the 2 archetypes together, because this card has the ability you can reveal this card in your hand and 1 other level 5 monster in your hand and special summon both to your side of the field, meaning you can reveal this card plus another canine monster or your copy of the Great Emperor Penguin or Penguin Squire to instantly bring them out to your side of the field. This card also has the ability during your main phase, you can actually add a non-aqua canine monster from your deck to your hand, meaning we can use this card to search out our copy of Lantern. Lantern is great as a one-of in the build because this card has the effect that if this card is in your hand, you can target a level 5 non-pyro canine monster in the graveyard and special summon both it and this card, but they cannot be used as a material for an XZ summon of a light monster, which is actually shared among all your different canine monsters to lock you out of light XZ monsters. This card also has the ability that during your main phase, you can actually add a canine spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is great to help you get to your copy of Force Release so we can rank up our copy of Ripper into a copy of Werewolf. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is an amazing 3-of in the build to basically just stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then also play 3 copies of Fluros. Fluros is amazing in the build to basically just dig in the deck for the exact cards that we need. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is an amazing 1-of in the build to basically just stop your opponent's hand traps while you're going in for all of your plays. We then make a single copy of Forced Release. Forced Release is awesome as a 1-of in the build because this card is searchable. You only need a single copy, but it actually helps you rank up your copy of Ripper into a copy of Werewolf. We then play 3 copies of Chaotic Elements. Chaotic Elements is awesome in this build because this card can actually search out your copy of Jokel, as this card lets you add a level 5 or higher monster that's a light or a dark, pyro or aqua from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is a great ability to instantly grab your copy of Jokel off this card's effect. We then play 3 copies of A Case for Canine. A Case for Canine is definitely a 3-of in the build as well because this card is basically Tinky for your canine monsters, letting you add a canine monster from your deck to your hand. We then play 3 copies of Royal Penguin's Garden. This card is an awesome 3-of in the build that lets us add a penguin card from our deck to our hand, except another copy of this card, and also once per turn during your main phase, you can decrease the level of 1 penguin monster in your hand or face on the field by 1 until the end of the turn, and then discard a card, which is a pretty cool effect to be able to use, just in case you have just your copy of the Great Emperor Penguin in the hand, so you can normal summon it out to your side of the field, making it a level 4 with this card's effect. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is an amazing 3-of in the build to basically just stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. Along with our other hand traps in this build, this card works extremely well at just stopping your opponent, so you can go full combo on the follow-up, and it's just an awesome hand trap that we can set to our side of the field. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Penguin Brave. Penguin Brave is an amazing 2-of in the build, and it's basically the boss monster of Penguin. This card is the ability that your opponent cannot target face-down defensive monsters you control with card effects. Also, this card is the ability, if this card is synchro summon, you can special summon a penguin monster from your deck in face-down defensive. And when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can flip 1 face-down defensive water monster you control face-up, which is a pretty cool ability to work with your copy of Penguin Soldier, flipping it up to bounce 2 monsters off the field. And this card is just really good in the deck. We then play a single copy of Dragite. Dragite is awesome because this card is basically a spell trap negate. And play a single copy of the Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign. This card is awesome as a boss monster with the ability that for each banished card, this card gains 100 attack and defense points, and monsters your opponent control lose 100 attack and defense points. And if this card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can actually banish a card from the grave instead, and if a card becomes banished, you can banish a card each from both your opponent's field and graveyard. And play a single copy of Canine Ripper. Ripper is great in this build because you can detach a material from this card to add a K9 card from your deck to your hand, helping you get to your copy of Yugioh. This card also has a really cool ability that when your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or the graveyard, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card to negate that ability, which is a really cool effect. We play a single copy of Werewolf. Werewolf is awesome to basically rank up into this card using your copy of Force Release to help us go in for game, and it's an insane boss monster. We play a single copy of Valen. Valen is great in the build as one of, because this card is actually a walking Book of Moon and helps out a lot in this deck. And then I see a copy of Princess. Princess is really cool to play in the build, and this card is built you can detach a material in this card to target a level 5 monster in either player's graveyard and special summon it to either player's field, which is a great ability to be able to use to help us bring back our copy of the Great Emperor Penguin, so we can actually tribute it to bring out more penguins to our side of the field. And then I see a copy of Nash Knight. Nash Knight is great to basically gobble up one of your opponent's cards and attach a copy of number 104 to this card. This card is awesome to be able to play in the build because when you attach your copy of your Nash Knight, you can actually rank up your copy of Nash Knight into CXZ Nash Knight, which will help us actually summon out our copy of C104, which is a crazy powerful card. This card is the ability, when this card is special summon, you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy that target. And then this card is a copy of number 104 Masquerade as an XZ material, which it will, because you summoned it out using your copy of C Nash Knight, and has the effect that if your opponent actually activates a monster effect on your opponent's side of the field, you can detach a material in this card to negate the activation and then send a random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, and if you do, half your opponent's life points. That's one of the most broken negates ever created. Having your opponent's life points, getting rid of a card out of their hand, and negating that monster effect on the field is so broken on this card, but for more budget option in this deck, you can actually change out your copy of number 104 and your copy of C104 for a copy of number C101 and 101, which will actually keep you on theme with water cards as well if you want to change them out for those options, but it's a much more budget option than C104 and 104 in this build. We then play a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is great in this deck to basically just use this card to board wipe the field. We then play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's just so good in just about every single deck. This card is basically a skill drain for 3,000 attack point monsters and a bounce. We play a single copy of SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight is also one of those cards that just belongs in just about every single extract, and it's basically a double interruption. So that's it for the deck, guys. I would enjoy this deck. Is so fun to be able to play, and it's insane how many decks you can actually play K9 in. It's one of the coolest engines I've actually seen because of Yugioh, and it's such an interesting card to be able to play in all sorts of different builds. And definitely comment down below what decks you're also playing K9 in. It's just such a fun deck to be able to play, to actually include the K9 cards in a Penguin deck. So that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys.